Hey, Muffin here. So I have another subscriber request. I did a Girl in Panzer challenge. I actually try to recreate a scene. The last one I did was of the mouse, when the girls in Panzer, the main characters ended up coming across a mouse, the Hetzer went underneath it, which I think the mouse would have crushed the Hetzer, but anyway, kind of outside the point. And now I wanted to do a different scene just for my fans, my subscribers. You guys come up with a lot of excellent ideas. So we're doing another one here, and there's a scene from Girls in Panzer. Now, I have never seen the series. I'm not a big anime fan myself, but I love tanks. I watched the scene, and just from the subscriber request, and wanted to see if we can recreate it. See what would happen if we tried doing this in BLITZ. Can they take on a T95? Now, in this scene, when I was trying to comb through and watch it, I did have one subscriber say that we were missing the Chaffee, but I wasn't sure if I had seen that just from the YouTube clip that I had seen. But from one side, we had the Matilda, and there was a few that they could choose between, because I know a lot of people don't have the M3 Lee. But through these different rounds that we're going to be doing, we're going to be giving a lot of different subscribers turns, just to kind of add a variety to it. Whichever side ends up struggling the most, I'm actually going to join that side and see if that one side can end up winning, if I can try and help them out. And so in the scene, basically what happens, there's the main characters. They have tanks, like, there was actually more than 7 of them in the scene. There was like a Matilda, a Stug, a Tiger P, M4, Sherman. I think there was like a B2 is what it is. And there was the Firefly. I'm pretty sure it was a Churchill 3, just from looking at the vid on Team A side. And then on Team B side, there was the T95, obviously, which actually in the scene turns into a T28. It's trying to fit its way through a narrow hole, or just a narrow passageway through a wall, can't fit, detaches its sides, and becomes narrow like the T28. And then behind it, when the T95 first comes out, I'm pretty sure they look like the Eagle 7 tanks in BLITZ. So that's what we're doing here. And a great fight by the subscribers that they had done. Now, this, you may think, oh, these E7 tanks, they're just pushing the T95 and they're behind it. Well, in their defense, in the scene from Girls in Panzer, that's what happened. The T95 came out in front, and then the Eagle 7s came out from behind them when attacking the main characters. So they actually were quite in line. And this T95 is actually using not the top cannon that does more damage. The top cannon actually does 640 average damage. He wasn't using the top cannon, which I guess in a way actually makes sense, because in the scene, the T28, or the T20, excuse me, the T95, when it detaches its sides and turns into the T28, is kind of like the T28, because the T28 in BLITZ only has that 400 average damage cannon. So it was actually quite fun, interesting. In the first one, the Girls in Panzer main characters were able to beat the T95. So far, they have 1.1 win for them. And we're going to go ahead here in the second battle and just see what happens. Whichever side ends up losing, I'm going to join that side and just kind of see what we can do. Now, it's kind of funny because when playing these rounds, especially when you're the lower tier tanks, it's kind of intimidating to come across like a much higher tier tank like the T95 or other challenges I've done in the past, like Mouse, whatever. And when you do end up being that tank that is the higher tier against all the like lots of lower tier tanks, it's also kind of intimidating, but it kind of has like a weird cool feel. I think it'd be fun to do a lot of these different vids and challenges I do as game modes within Blitz. So I don't know, we'll see what Wargaming comes up with. Great shots on that T95 cupola. That's really, if you can't get to the side of it. Now the T95's cupola back in the day, it actually used to have a way better armor profile. And if, I want to say if the T95 had the same armor profile now as it did back in the day, for those that remember, I think this would be a bit more challenging for the other team. And really with the T95, a lot of it is just getting around the sides and rear. The front just has very beastly armor. But it's so painfully slow. It's not a tank I play a whole lot, but it's one of those tanks that kind of draws me to it every once in a while because I'm the type of person that likes a challenge. And that is a tank that definitely can be a challenge, just with how slow it is. I'm not sure what happened on that shot to the Churchill. You can just see just right on that cupola. Now in real life, if all you were doing was just shooting a cupola on a tank, it wouldn't die. Like if that's all you were ripping apart, that like would not happen. I mean, the tank would still be functional, be perfectly fine. I know War Thunder is a bit more accurate when it comes to that, but it's kind of those same things that happen in a first-person shooter. It's like when you end up, you know, getting a guy in the toe or something and he dies and you're like, what? I don't know. It's kind of that same thing, but so are video games, right? So 2 left on the T95 team, 4 other tanks left on the other side. Ooh, just lost another. It's maybe a close round. This T95 cannot let them get along the sides. And so next round, I am going to be playing the T95. We're going to just see how this goes. I wasn't even thinking about the player that was playing the T95 using not the top cannon. So I already have the top cannon equipped. And I'm going to go in here and just see what we can do. Because after seeing that, I'm like, I swear I have this balanced. I mean, there's a tier 9 and 2 tier 7s against primarily a bunch of, you know, tier 4, tier 5, and then, you know, tier 6, and then just 1 tier 7. I'm like, okay, the T95 side has got to be able to win one of these. If it's too difficult, then maybe I'll do some balancing changes, but so as you can see, I'm trying to push and get in the front of them as much as I can, but it is taking a while. To the point where I'm spotted, they can easily flank me, and I need these eagles to at least protect my sides and rear. So basically at walking speed, I am slowly climbing what I think is an on-ramp. And I've only done 2 of these. Yeah, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That is why you don't want to get in front of the T95. So 1 down, got a shot off there on the Firefly, and I just want to get in their faces. Now I think this makes a pretty big difference using the top cannon on the T95. So very smart move from him trying to get around. Now this puts me in a little bit of a pinch because I've got people to the right of me, people to the left. I do not want to get sandwiched. If I do turn and go one way, it's really going to put me in a bad spot because then my back and rear are going to be exposed and vulnerable. That Stug has pretty good maneuverability, and I need to push on this Tiger P here. So he's gone. Gotta love Gary on.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Try to get rid of him.
One of our trucks was hit.
And that is a scary place to be.
We finished him off.
So now we're ahead, doing really well, T95 side. At first, the whole concept is wondering, okay, according to Blitz, is it possible with reenacting the Girls in Panzer episode, can they win against the T95? And so far, they were just whooping the T95, and I started wondering, well, is it possible for the T95 to win?
Enemy destroyed.
So great game, got one last one. Now it's just the subscribers, just mixing up, putting more players in. If you want to help with any of my vids, join my Discord. Make sure you get the movie crew roll. That way you get the announcements every time I do make an announcement on when I'm doing my the rooms. So last round. And so far I've only done 2 of these Girl in Panzer vid reenactments. And the New Bay map looked like it's been the best map form. I don't know if all Girl Panzer scenes take place in like a city that's all nice and bright. But so far with the Mouse scene and the T95 scene, this was the map that seemed like it just fit the best. Had some pretty good close games here.
Punched right through their armor.
That poor Matilda. Want to give a special shout out to the subscribers that had played the tier 4 tanks. I know being the lower tier tanks typically is the most challenging, especially when it comes to these reenactments of whatever they are, but definitely they deserve some props for willing to be the lower tier tank. I'm also convinced the T95 has got to be one of the most rarest tanks in the game, because some of the times, it hasn't been often, but when I've needed the T95 and I've announced that, hey, whoever has the tank join the room, there may be like one person out of everyone that I announced to that maybe has a T95. When it comes to other tanks, I feel like I can easily fill up the rooms, but yeah, and which is understandable. The T95 can be a very painful tank to play. And it's expensive in the game. Probably worth selling just to use the credits towards something else. pretty smart not letting the T9, not letting the Stug get behind him.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
This T95 is not going down without a fight.
Penetration.
Just him left. Can he do it? There's still a lot of hit points.
Nice shot.
Ooh, and smart move there to take out the Firefly.
The track is down.
Churchill down, only 2 left. And smart move by this Hetzer. That is one thing about the T95 that definitely puts it in a really bad position. The rear is basically just paper. If he can take out this Tiger P and turn around quick enough, but unfortunately that was it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.